Now to our last speaker, a topic that concerns us all, especially our wallets, and these are the energy prices. Andreas Proidl, warm welcome to you. You know more than a lot concerning the energy market. Mr. Proidl is responsible for ecological energy, efficient energy since 2011. And he's going to answer the questions of tourism in the time of energy crisis and how this can be seen in future conditions. So I am sure it's going to interest most of you, all of you. So big applause. Thank you very much for being here today. Yes, a wonderful afternoon to all of you. And I'm so happy to be here amongst you and being allowed to make this presentation and to talk about a very, very current topic, the situation of the energy markets. So in my title of my presentation, I have the price of the crisis, that here is the energy crisis price, and we don't have an energy crisis yet, since we still have enough energy at our disposition right now. However, in the private sector, or whether in the public sector, the prices have gone up. And here it has a great effect upon the inflation, not just the energy prices, but all the prices are growing, and the energy needs a lot of work to fight this. So what I'd like to discuss with you today is, on the one hand, what are the current developments on the energy market, what is happening. So I think it's not that clear from what direction this actually comes and what we're discussing. Then to discuss also the framework of what's going to happen in the future and where we're heading to. So with the current development, so what are the frameworks? What does the European Union want? And then the one or the other topics concerning the tourist branch, the questions that come directly from this branch, and what is the daily business concerning us, where are the current problems. But first of all, we're going to start with the price development. So what you can see on the chart here is the development of the of electricity, and as you know, these are exploding. All of this started in the last year. So this was in the first trimester, second trimester, where there was already tension between Russia and Ukraine. The prices, especially for gas, were peaking up. And how it started last year, it wasn't that there wasn't enough gas, not enough energy or anything. It was the fact that we noticed there's something happening on the market. The risk is getting more, and people are getting frightened more and more, and that there is not enough supply, and that in future that the prices, the gas prices, are going up. So here we have the main tribe who is bringing the energy prices to an explosion. So with this, these prices, the energy prices going up, and it's coming to certain discussions which you have probably are probably aware of. So on the one hand, it's the retail prices, the wholesale prices that have gone up, the raw material prices that have gone up. What comes on top of that, it happens in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and this was topified, was the price construction of energy on the market, electricity on the market. So we've got prices that exceed 200 megawatt the hour, and at the same time, we also have renewable energies and technologies that create new energies, which actually here they're produced here in Austria, and we have these prices that are not concerned because, for example, in Donau with the watercraft, it works the same way as it did 20 years ago. So it's quite an intense discussion that is being led, how the electricity price has come about. And this can be explained in the following way. So the electricity price is based upon the merit order system. So for every time where electricity is being dealt with, it's the most expensive that is being discussed. So this is a gas station. So we've got so much renewable energy. It doesn't matter what the gas price is like. That could be your argument. But it's not the case. We are part of a European market. For us, it is so important to concretely observe what we have on the energy stock market and the energy prices on the stock market. That's relevant to us. And to this price, we deal with electricity. Electricity is not dealt as distinguishing between sun energy, water energy, etc. We discuss price of water coming out of the socket. It's the socket that determines the price. So wherever the origin is from, and this is what determines the end user. So there we have to say that we are right in the middle of it, and how far the state or the governments want to intervene here. I mean, we have some questions of on European competitive level, can every state intervene? Are they allowed to intervene in every condition? But we're still in the middle of our discussion. We don't have the answer yet, or we're not the only ones, and other countries also have this discussion. If we look at this high energy price, and we take it into consideration, then the renewable energies, especially in electricity, they become more competitive, and not just more competitive, even in future, they can determine the price here. So we have a positive effect. So the renewable energy, especially wind power, but also the small and medium water energy, which gets subventions. They say no to subventions because on the market they can earn a lot more and get a lot more money than they actually get due to the subvention. So here we have a positive development. That means the renewable energies are suddenly not just competitive, but in the future they will also determine the market. The development that we have seen, but not just in the petrol price, but also in the end customer price and different levels, we can really see the comparison of the individual energy, the energy givers on the market with a VPN, which means with the actual inflation rates. We see the price incrementation with the various energy concerns, and how they are connected with the current situation. So, especially companies in Vienna have warm energy couplers that are coupled with heat, especially if we use gas heating systems, but also, for example, if we have wood pallets, a product that usually doesn't have to do anything with the gas price development. But of course, now, with all this energetic crisis and all this dependency that we are observing concerning gas, there's a big, we need a lot more biomass. So there is this demand on biomass, these heating up of individual ovens with pallets. And of course, demand and supply. Demand and supply determines the market. And that's how the price is determined. And we have a high demand concerning pallets and ovens. So this is why this price incrementation is also a current topic. So if people would like to heat with pallets rather with gas, they're not going to be on time to get the oven fixed into their places, because the kettle installation and all of this cannot be fast enough according to this high demand. The products of the oil, petrol, diesel, heating oil, we all know that the prices are very high, above €2. Now they've gone down again, but due to the current discussion, where it's all about the fact that we have an oil embargo or not, so the prices for natural oil are going to stay. So good. So what are the answers to this crisis that we are facing currently? We have to say that there are some positive aspects to this. So we do have answers to the crisis. There are possibilities of how to survive this, go away from this Russian gas dependency, as you've seen from the media. We in Austria have a very high dependency of the Russian gas. 80% of the gas that we receive comes from Russia. So here we are highly dependent, like in Hungary, Slovakia, and the more we come to west of Europe, the less this dependency is. You see this on the oil embargo too. Where, for example, before we had China, we had Hungary as well, but now we're discussing also the gas embargo. And there in Austria, we are very strongly pulling the brakes because there's a high dependency of Russian gas. However, we have possibilities to come out of this crisis and come out of this dependency from Russia. The easiest and the fastest is to work in an energy-efficient way, which we can do immediately. And this can be visible immediately. So we're going to see how difficult this is going to be and how strong it's going to be. It's really interesting because the boss of our sister organization from the German Bundesnetzagentur, which is the federal agency of networks, say that we should only heat up to 19 degrees. Single households should only heat up one room. And for everyone, of course, you don't have to take. Another thing is you shouldn't shower every day. This is serious. So this has been brought into the discussion too. And I hope it's not going to come to this, that we have to discuss about these topics, but to think energy efficiently, and we should do this. What's also happening right now is the gas concerns are also being filled up, and this is being discussed quite a lot. So why are these not filled? Why have we waited so much? This is what's happening right now. We're preparing ourselves to the next winter to have enough gas. I mean, this is quite simple now. The heating period is over now, and we are filling up all of this because the gas market is as high as possible, higher than ever, and another option would be liquid gas. And this isn't new. And so this is very new. Also here in, especially here in Austria, so liquid gas is an option that import this from other countries. So we also have a bit of logistic, which is also being influenced. So terminals, ships from the US. This is being discussed. That a certain logistic brings liquid gas containers and distributes them on the European continent. What's also being discussed is the substitution of fossil gases, biomethane and hydrogen, which is also being discussed quite a lot, which is also being has subsidies, but it's still in its beginnings. It's not that fast then, and here we also have in the long term quantitative masses, that the gas that we're getting right now is still fossil gas, and to be able to substitute this, we have diversification of the various countries, which is also a relevant story. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or even 4 weeks ago, we also there was a whole ministry discussion, and they were sent to the Arab Peninsula, where they also had to discuss this topic. The question is, how can we diversify ourselves? In which countries do we want to diversify? Who do we trust? I'm afraid with Russia, we noticed that we are not always, we cannot always trust everybody. What is also a big topic here at the moment is that before the whole crisis started, we had to leave gas. Gas as energy concern to avoid it, and then this has already happened. So the town of Wien has decided till 2040 to get out of gas in total. No more having any heating systems that work with gas anymore. That's a long-term story. This is going to take a while. It's also combined with a lot of costs, high costs. In Vienna, we have to find a solution to substitute the heating systems, also with the earth heating, but this in the long term. So the geothermal energy. So the geothermal energy is also an option. So the good news is that we have diverse technical possibilities and to be able to substitute all of this. However, as I've already said before, we have always the but. That's always the thing. So it's the time factor. And the other problem is to which cost. What talks are we talking about? So the time factor is essential for the most alternative issues that have been listed here. We won't be able to make it as fast as that. And we're not talking about weeks or months. We're talking about years until all of this can be realized. So then, of course, the costs for the different investments, whether these investments are in liquid gas terminals or whether we're talking about the infrastructure of companies, or here we have costs. And we have to be clear about it, that this change in the energy supply needs to be connected with the various resources, and the politics are now not just in Austria, but also on European level, have high pressure to realize all these possibilities, to find ways of how to realize this. And this is going to take a while until we can really get to the ground of things and to be able to get this clog rolling. So I don't think that there's going to be the solution for the next winter. But we also have to say that energy, we have enough energy. We're still talking about an energy price crisis and not an energy crisis. The current topics in tourism, just a few issues that are in our daily business that have been told to us. We have an energy hotline where people can ask for support. We also have also a line where people come up to us if they have dispute settlements. They can come to us for these dispute resolutions if they suffer from them, especially in the branch of tourist restaurants, tourist models. These are questions concerning the contracts. Most in the private sector and the business sector have in the last weeks received posts from energy concerns where they said prices are going up, you can stay with us or look for someone else, or there's something's happening here. So I think there are many questions that have been asked of whether this is regulated and what customers can do, how they can react to get the good energy provision, the energy providers. And then we look at the contracts that we have, smaller customers in the mass concepts with specific concepts that we have to study. Bigger customers have individual solutions with their energy concerns, but there if we look exactly what's written in the contracts, it's very important to check that we're not suddenly without any with any concerns, because with any providers, because not just the prices are coming up, but you have the possibility to sign a new contract with us. But the contract that you have now is has come to its end, and many have not understood this or haven't read through it, and suddenly they had no more providers. So what we have to do first of all is check the contracts and see what the conditions are, and then make sure that if there are any misunderstandings, that they should come to us. And also classics, for example, are the photovoltaic and the loading stations for immobility. There we always ask ourselves the question, we're not being connected, and with loading stations, with immobility, what's my role? If me as a hotel, am I an energy, am I a supplier, or who am I? For example, if on a daily basis, there is no real answer. But in this case, we can just say if there's something that's unclear, or we have problems with the network operator, then they don't have the right connectivity and they cannot connect it, then please come to us. Apart from that, what's happening here, especially in the tourist area with many hotels, catering, etc. In the past, they've been active in the creation of energy, especially with various supplies. And here we have a new rule and regulation. There's a new law concerning this from ecological energy that creates a new framework for the development of renewable energies. What's really important here is the goal. We want to have 2030 renewable energies, and concerning the climate change, we want 75%. The last 30%, we want to fill it up to 2030, and this has to be done with technology, that pre-existing technology that we have. So the raw material independent energy, photovoltaic, and also biomass technology, etc. What is also very interesting is that we also have different with the laws we have for 17, 18 years. We have a system of new tariffs, and so we have new in the new network, we have new energy with a fixed rate, and they didn't have to do anything. And on the oil market, they had then this system that bought everything, and they had this new driver. And as soon as they had this contract with everything, and they didn't have to do anything anymore. So thanks to this subsidy came from the government to bring this subsidy onto the market, and especially to give all the subsidies. And so what we wanted to do is that there are no values, that we have fixed values. They have a subsidy, and these they then, for example, they have a certain sum, and there's not this one place where you can sell the electricity to. We have to look on the market, who's going to buy the electricity from me. So we have this whole packet. We don't have this packet anymore. It's gone. We don't have it anymore because we have to stay competent on the market. And there's this new rule and regulation that was placed in June. It doesn't have to be discussed much. It's 2-3 years old, and there are 5 different governments that have been working on it until this has been put into place. And there, I have to say, that was before the energy crisis, and the energy crisis that we have at the moment have placed all these subsidies, have disturbed them, and as I've said before, they sell the products on the market because they get more money for it. So if we look at the medium term, we see how this goes to and how useful this actually is. And furthermore, what's also been decided in the future is also going to come into construction is the energy efficiency and the energy efficiency laws, where they're going to have an energy audit system, management system, that they have to introduce this into the system. And there we have also the necessities of to fulfill the energy efficient laws, and this energy efficient law regulation is that the energy deliverer has to be able to set measures of energy efficiency, and many tourist areas need cooperations with their energy suppliers, so that these laws and these regulations are being fulfilled. So these are the main areas that we have at the moment, but there's still quite a lot that's going to come in the near future. So as you probably know from on European level, how we continue to work, we have more pressure in the future, and then we have the European Green Deal, where we want to use the finances on European level for climate, for Europe, to bring more development into it, to build it up. And this will take place. This started to take place in the beginning of the pandemic situation. So this is a part where the economy can be relived, how we can come out of this pandemic situation. And this European deal now has again received a spin due to the Ukrainian war. And so they have to invest further and further into these alternative energies. In Austria now, we are expecting to have also the energetic heat law, so the geothermal law. And when we talk about this new geothermal law, where regulations, it's going to all be about fossil energy, that will be completely out. It's already been decided that we need to go out of oil, and there are many areas that still say we need to leave gas as well. But with this regulation, we want to bring in more drive, more possibilities, more subsidies, so that we have this exchange of these fossil heating systems towards the renewable energies in a faster pace. We have also these aims of the European Union, especially Fit for 55, which has just been presented shortly and defined, where we try to have the greenhouse effects, to reduce greenhouse effects even more than we have done up to now. So this is what's coming there. So we're not going to be bored at all, as you can see. But what we do notice with these stories and with the crisis that we are going through is that probably we have taken up too much time. We have thought about all these possibilities and we have not implemented them actively. And now there's a certain pressure that we are facing, and the know-how and the possibilities are not ready yet. So we need to work faster, and we have to install them. And we shall see what the future will bring, and if we manage to surpass this obstacle, and if we can do this sufficiently. Wow, there is quite a lot happening there. Mr. Proidl, thank you so much for this, and I think we can really get ready for this. So maybe let's have a look at our audience and ask you, what exactly is e-control? What does it mean? Well, actually, we started 2001 in the green market liberalization, where we started work on European level, where we said electricity and gas are products that need to be on the market, such as they should be there on the free market and the open market, and that every EU member country should have a regulator and define this regulator on the one hand to be competitive between the energy concerns, but also on the other, and the energy suppliers, but also on the other hand, the running system should be regulated more, because these nets where the energy flows through. This is a monopoly, and it wouldn't make sense to make it competitive. We have seen this in various areas where this has been done. For example, in the UK, we took out, yes, the railway system from the competition, and now what happened? We had less and less trains running. The train running system didn't work. Why? Because they only wanted to make money. So we saw the results of it. So it has to be taken into the regulated monopolized system, and we've done this with the network as well, monopolized it again to avoid what happened in the UK. And then we thought about what this is allowed to cost, what these different net concerns. This is the e-control. So thank you that the e-control exists, but we still don't have an energetic crisis. We've just got a price crisis on the energetic market. What happens if the Mr. Putin will close the tap? Then it's going to be complicated. So on the first-hand side, for this case, if what happened is that the stockage is going to be filled. So on a daily basis, we are filling the stocks. So the stocks, the storage is being filled and filled and filled to be ready with all the storages. And then what happens then once the gas is no longer there, or if we don't have sufficient gas, then the energy has to be changed. Then we're going, first of all, the big industry is going to be switched off, and then there's going to be a kind of a rule what we're going to switch off first, and then of course we're going to keep helping the households, but first of all the energy area in the big industries is going to be switched off. How do you see the danger of a complete blackout? I know this is a difficult question, but if we have you here, we want, as an energy expert, we find it very interesting. We would like to know your opinion upon that. I personally think that these blackouts discussions are totally OTT, totally over the top, absolute panic making. On the one hand, you have to imagine we permanently have electricity cuts. Cuts are often happen. You know, if we have too much snow, all these weather conditions, and it always happens from time to time. A blackout which is over a bigger time span that we have no electricity. You really need something big to happen. There have to be massive effects, massive horrific situations in the whole of Europe, but this has never happened in the past. I don't know if we should really think about such an event and if this could actually happen. You know, you cannot exclude anything in life, but I don't think this is feasible. I don't think this is going to be the case as it's being represented, this horror scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. So your word in God's ear, we're going to keep this. So this knowledge campus is an instrumental, and especially for the practice. So we would like to give the companies many ideas and development. If I hear everything that is in there with all these laws and regulations, how can me as a company, where should I start? If we talk about renewable energies, where can I start? So in general, there are many possibilities. If I look on a technical side, if you know, to make your own storage, battery storage, your own energy storage. There are possibilities of energy communes, communities where many people get together, and you have different companies that come together, and together they create energy sources together. And clearly, it's knowledge that doesn't fall off the sky, and you have to create this knowledge, and you have different possibilities and options where you can get information, and you have the e-control, so us as e-control, where we are also here a place where you can get your information from, but in the different federal nations, we have a kind of energy information and support where you can come to us and where you can get information via subsidies, via installations and everything that comes with it, and also to give energy, you know, from the energy laws, we have to give them information, an information place where they find out how can they place a photovoltaic, how much does this cost, what do I need to do, and what administrative tasks they need to go through, all the chores, and there are so many possibilities to be able to navigate oneself through this jungle. Thank you so much, Mr. Proidl. That was very, very interesting. Thank you for all these tips and these ideas and the perspectives that you're giving us, that in the future we can make it, and that there are ways and possibilities for tourism here so that we can actually head to a positive future. Thank you so much, Bernard Proidl. Harald, thank you.